Holly. They're right now talking about the iPhone 11. It's going to be much faster with better battery life, an hour more than the iPhone XR. They're talking about how they have this great dual camera that's going to have a much wider field of view possible, but they still haven't announced the price tag for this next generation iPhone. So we're waiting for that. But we did get a price tag for Apple TV Plus. We've been waiting for that since March, and now we got a launch date as well. Take a listen to Tim Cook.
We're excited to tell you that the first shows will be available on November 1st, and we'll be adding more Apple originals every month. And Apple TV Plus will be available in over 100 countries at launch. And it is just $4.99 per month for your whole family.
Now, that $4.99 is key because there was some speculation that it could cost as much as $9.99 a month. And we should note that Netflix, Roku, and Disney all moving on this news, hitting new session lows. We see Disney down almost 2.5%, Netflix down 3.25%, and Roku down over 9%. So also we got a price tag for Apple Arcade, announcing that that will also cost $4.99 a month for that unlimited video game service with 100 games, and that's going to be launching on September 19th. In 150 countries. We also heard about a next generation iPad as well as new Apple Watches with more capabilities and a big focus on health. We'll be continuing to listen, and we'll be listening especially for the price tag for those new iPhones. Back over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Julia Boorstin. Let's get to our panel to break down what we've heard from Apple so far. Russell Hawley is managing editor of Mobile Nations and joining us for the first time after announcing their new firm, LightShed Partners. Rich Greenfield and Walter Piecyk, formerly with BTIG. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Walter, let's start off with you in terms of what Apple has announced. They spent a lot of time on the watch. We still don't know the price on the phone. What do you make of it so far?
I mean, it's a typical Apple announcement. You know, there's typically a run-up in the stock ahead of time, and then there's a sell-off the day of the announcements because there hasn't been a tremendous amount of new innovation. I mean, the company sold 230 million phones back with the iPhone 6. That was 5 years ago, so we're down significantly since then. It's a new camera. We'll see if the pricing is any different, and that helps to mitigate some of the unit decline that exists out there. But again, this is just more of a typical Apple launch, except for the new services that they're talking about, this $5 a month. This is the new era for Apple where they're trying to move out from being just an equipment company into more of a recurring revenue business, whether it's $5 a month or $10 a month. This is part of the new story of Apple. So that's the new thing for today.
Sure.
The iPhone stuff is kind of status quo.
What am I getting for $5 a month, Rich?
You know, it's funny. Brandon Ross, our partner in LightShed, we've been debating this for months with investors, trying to explain to them that this is a really big deal. This is not a joke. Apple's not doing this lightly. They're really serious, and that we're in this kind of transformational period for TV, moving from linear TV to internet TV. Apple, this isn't like, it's not game over. It's not like Netflix and Disney Plus have won. There's going to be a lot of winners in this space, and for $5 a month, first of all, let's even, before we get to $5 a month, if you buy an Apple device, and Walt calculates that there's over 250 million Apple devices sold each year. If you think about that, 250 million people will have a full year subscription to this service without paying.
Yeah, but to Melissa's point, you still got to tell me what I'm going to log into it, turn it on, and watch. What am I looking for?
Well, you have almost a billion devices, just phones alone. You're right. You have almost a billion phones that'll be able to turn this on, then Max on top of that. I mean, a massive global bigger install base than any other streaming service out there. You're going to be able to just turn it on and watch it. And whether you're on a Samsung TV or any television, you're going to be able to watch this product, whether there'll be a Roku app, there'll be an Apple app.
Have they announced any of the shows for it yet?
They did. I mean, the morning show's up. They announced C this morning. I mean, you probably have $2 billion of annual investment that's being pumped into this,
but you're paying
scaling very rapidly.
I mean, you're paying $4.99.
You're paying nothing for most people.
For most people, okay. But still, eventually the decision will have to be made as to whether or not you pay whatever it is at that point, $4.99 a month or whatever it may be, for what? For originals?
How many shows on HBO do you watch in a year? Just at it, roughly, ballpark.
I don't know, 3.
Okay. So they need to have 3 shows that you like over the course of, not the first year, the second year, because the first year you're getting it for free. By the second year, they need 3 shows that each of you are going to watch. My bet is they're going to figure out a way to do that, and this is going to upside surprise in terms of how big a deal this is.
We are just learning the price of the iPhone 11. It is starting at $699.
So lower. So going for units now, right? We've leaned on price for years.
What happens to ASPs?
They've leaned on price for years to offset the unit declines. Now the replacement cycle is extended as long as it's been. You have upgrade rates at historical lows at operators across the world. So now maybe they're saying, like, look, we cut some prices after the last phone didn't sell well. That seemed to help us in this more recent quarter to mitigate some of these declines. They're going the opposite way.
Didn't they have to do this to compete with Huawei in some of the lower price or lower affluency markets?
I mean, people have talked about them having to cut price in the past. There's been plenty of successful years where they haven't done that and been able to grow the revenue or at least mitigate some of the declines. But clearly, this was an issue after last year. They saw some success with price declines in some of these international markets. So they're going the opposite way right now to try and
Wasn't the XR a slightly lower price version of the Apple X or XS or X? I don't know what it was.
The 10R was lower, but
10R,
then they had the 10S and the 10S Max in order to try and expand you on a higher price increase there. Revenue still ended up declining. You know, they don't disclose units in ASP anymore, but we still did see that revenue decline in iPhone. So
Russell, I want to bring you in. You're the gadget guy. So what do you make of everything so far, and particularly the $699 price tag?
Yeah, so I think there's actually some confusion going on with some of the stuff that was said just a moment ago. To be clear, the iPhone 11 that's being branded right now is actually a replacement for the iPhone 10R that was before. The R series is kind of being rebranded into like the standard brand for the iPhone, which is a cool way of doing this because it means that we're also getting the iPhone 11 Pro instead of what we saw before with the Max version. So that there's just kind of some shuffling around here with the rebranding. The iPhone 10R last year was $749, so we're actually only looking at a $50 difference in price. And Apple has shifted back and forth, $50 when it comes to prices for release launches for a while now. So the pricing is actually fairly consistent with what Apple has done previously. The biggest thing here is being able to offer that ultra-wide camera and being able to offer the initial services that come with a standard iPhone at this price point and with battery that is even greater than what was offered last year. The biggest reason that that's exciting is that these cameras are designed to kind of meet the current pace that we're seeing from Google's Pixel line and Samsung's line and Huawei's line, not really exceed them, which is probably going to be a challenge for Apple when we come into the later year. But the video capabilities are what's going to help set it apart, especially when it comes to the front-facing camera.